Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So I got two articles we're going to check out here. I wanted to cover this one first because it leads into the second one. We also have a third article that I'm going to do a second video on just for time's sake. Most people only stick around for the first 2-3 minutes, which is fine. I understand that people are busy and we have short attention spans. And if that's you and you want to just hear about the second story where Fani Willis has admitted to her affair, go ahead and skip forward and check that part out. Trump prosecutor Fani Willis hit with subpoena by House Republicans over claims she misused $488,000 in taxpayer funds on MacBooks, swag, and travel, and then fired the whistleblower who revealed the scheme. And I do have video, I believe it's recorded by the whistleblower herself, that I'll show you here in a little bit. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is facing another scandal over claims her office wanted to spend a $488,000 grant meant for gang prevention on excessive, expensive swag. Just another example of how Democrat leaders, Republicans do this too, but seems like Democrat leaders like to have power so then they can act like the money that comes in is theirs, right? The prosecutor, already under fire over allegations she hired her lover Nathan Wade to investigate Donald Trump, was hit with a subpoena by House Republicans on Friday as controversy rages over her conduct. In a letter Friday obtained by DailyMail.com, the House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan claimed that Willis's team was planning to misuse the grant earmarked for the creation of a Center of Youth Empowerment and Gang Prevention to pay for new luxuries including MacBooks and expensive travel. The whistleblower who came forward with details of the illicit scheme was then fired. The bombshell move from the GOP put even more pressure on Willis, who charged the former president with trying to subvert the election results in Georgia. That's the RICO case against Trump and I think it's 18 other people. According to the Free Beacon report, Willis's aide Michael Cuff was behind the alleged scheme to misuse taxpayer dollars. Jordan writes that when a whistleblower, Amanda Timpson, told Willis of the alleged plot, she was promptly fired. He wanted to do things with grants that were impossible, and I kept telling him, we can't do that. Timpson told Willis during a November 19th, 2021 meeting, according to a recording of a conversation obtained by the Free Beacon. And here, let me go ahead and just play that for you.
If you had to give me a sentence, what is the sentence theme?
I told him about his lack of leadership and the fact that he wanted to do things with grants that were impossible. And I kept telling him, we can't do that. And questioning stuff, he would take me off projects, tell people I wasn't doing what I was supposed to because I questioned him. Because I understood, I helped write that grant. I knew what was in that grant. He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get swag. We're gonna use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county. All this. Took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew for a fact Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing. Period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
Cuffey, and this is my personal opinion, to one woman to another, is dangerous to your administration. He tells people, when I reached out to you, he told me, you think your word is safe? Exactly when you reached out to Miss Willis, she called me and told me, she tell me everything. So once you reach out to her, she's going to reach back out to me. So I didn't even go to HR because he put Dexter's name on my PDP and I didn't even feel safe going to anybody.
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 supervisors that have failed in this building. What's interesting to me, because I'm in a learning curve too, they each pretend to have a relationship with me that they do not have. Mm-hmm. I guess that's an intimidation tactic. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that you felt that way, but Dexter certainly don't have no relationship with Michael Cuffey. You were safe to go those places. If you had to get...
So there you have it, out of the horse's mouth herself. But less than 2 months later, Timpson was axed from the office and escorted out of the office by 7 armed investigators. Right, because it takes 7 armed people to escort one woman from the office. I hate how they do that. Jim Jordan is demanding all documents and communications referring or relating to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office receipt and use of federal funds, and referring or relating to any allegations of the misuse of federal funds. Well, I mean, it's been, what, 2.5, 3 years since all this has gone on. So, hopefully for their sake, they kept the receipts. But if they didn't, I'm sure they won't be held accountable, right? Willis's office had rebuffed earlier documents requests from the committees, saying there is no jurisdiction in the Constitution for Congress to interfere with the state criminal matter. Willis has come under fire from Republicans following reports she tapped her lover Nathan Wade to lead the racketeering case against former President Donald Trump. In his first attempt ever of prosecuting a RICO case, I might add. Last month, the committee demanded documents related to Willis's relationship with Wade, noting that he had been paid more than $650,000 at a rate of $250 an hour to work on the investigation and prosecution of Trump and other federal officials, according to a new court filing. The committee noted federal funds may have been used to pay Wade, granting them jurisdiction to investigate. It highlighted the innumerous legal fees Wade had billed the DA's office for in one instance on November 5, 2021, charging for 24 hours of legal work in one day, claiming to have worked all day and night on the prosecution. No rest, no breaks, no lunch, nothing. He just stayed on the clock the entire time. So shame on those folks. So let's go check out this other article. This is probably the one you guys wanted to see the most, considering this is huge news, in my opinion. Fani Willis admits she had an affair with top prosecutor Nathan Wade. DA confirms personal relationship, but rejects salacious claims it was improper and insists it started after he was hired to investigate Trump. Spending all that time together, they just couldn't help but fall in love, right? Especially when they made that trip to the Biden White House before all the prosecution began. Fani Willis, the district attorney who brought charges against Donald Trump in Georgia, admits in an expensive new court filing that she had a relationship with fellow prosecutor she put on the payroll in the probe. At the same time, Willis, the DA in Fulton County, Georgia, who was pursuing Trump for alleged election interference, blasted meritless claims against her. She submitted the court filing after a Trump co-defendant asked to have the case against him dismissed. That defendant, Michael Roman, cited information obtained from a divorce proceeding that suggested Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade were carrying on a romantic relationship. Much of defendant Roman's motion relies on supposition and innuendo regarding the private relationship between District Attorney Willis and Special Prosecutor Wade, according to the filing. Willis said there's no financial conflict of interest that constitutes a legal basis for disqualification, and that there was no personal conflict of interest that justifies her disqualification personally or that of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Okay. Her filing then calls attacks on Special Prosecutor Wade's qualifications factually inaccurate, unsupported, and malicious. In addition to providing no basis whatsoever to dismiss the indictment or disqualify Special Prosecutor Wade. District Attorney Willis has no personal conflict of interest that justifies her disqualification personally or that of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, she writes. Roman's lawyer, Ashley Merchant, first brought forth the stunning allegations about Willis, who has become a regular target of Trump. Merchant dug up information on the relationship and included details in a filing alleging the pair took lavish vacations together. House Republicans have already said they plan to investigate. That's where Nathan Wade basically took Fani Willis on multiple vacations and he paid the bills, right? So essentially, taxpayer money went to Wade and then he took Fani Willis on vacations with that money. To me, that's a conflict of interest. The former president wrote in his Truth Social network, Fani Willis, the DA of Fulton County, just admitted to having a sexual relationship with the prosecutor she, in consultation with the White House and DOJ, appointed to, quote, get President Donald Trump, end quote. By going after the most high-level person and the Republican nominee, she was able to get her lover much more money, almost $1 million, than she would be able to get for the prosecution of any other person or individual. That means that this scam is totally discredited and over. And I agree. In the new filing on Friday, Willis writes, while the allegations raised in the various motions are salacious and garnered the media attention they were designed to obtain, but provide the court with no basis upon which to order the relief they seek. The filing includes an affidavit from Wade stating that the relationship with Willis began after his appointment, not before. That doesn't matter. You can't hire somebody and then fall in love with them and it's not be a conflict of interest. It's still a conflict of interest. It doesn't matter if it began before or after, and regardless, Nathan Wade was still married. He's just now wrapping up this settlement with his current wife, especially while they're still currently prosecuting Trump or anybody else that's involved with this RICO case. The affidavit also clarifies that although District Attorney Willis and Special Prosecutor Wade have been professional associates and friends since 2019, there was no personal relationship between them in November 2021 at the time of Special Prosecutor Wade's appointment. It goes on. Defendants offer no support for their insistence that the exercise of any prosecutorial discretion, i.e. any charging decision or plea recommendation, in this case was impacted by any personal relationship. Yeah, right, you can't prove that. You can't prove that it wasn't, but regardless, their actions are out of bounds. With these additional factors, the existence of a relationship between members of a prosecutorial team in and of itself is simply not a status that entitles a criminal defendant any remedy. The decision to prosecute alone could be the conflict of interest. There's a lot of grace and assumptions given to the DA and the investigator, the attorney, that they're being on the up and up whenever they bill for hours that they supposedly worked on a case. So whenever a person who is not on the up and up, like Fani Willis, hires their friend, then goes on vacation with that, all while that friend is submitting billing hours for 24 consecutive hours of work, I would have to say that would be a status that entitles a criminal defendant any remedy. But let's continue. Willis filing blasts wild speculation that she financially benefited from more than $600,000 in compensation that Wade received in his role. And see, that's what I'm talking about. There's no verification that Wade is actually working on it. Like, he almost needs to be audited to verify that he was working those hours that he's billing. You know what I mean? To be absolutely clear, the personal relationship between Special Prosecutor Wade and District Attorney Willis has never involved direct or indirect financial benefit to District Attorney Willis, it states. They have no joint or shared accounts, and there is not now or never has been any shared household. That doesn't matter. They don't have to live together, and they don't have to have a shared bank account for one person to take the other person out to dinner, to take a person on vacation, etc. According to a signed affidavit, Wade met Willis at a judicial training conference in 2019. Willis asked him to serve on her transition team when she was elected to her post in 2020. Wade said Willis asked him and two other lawyers in seeking out a competent, trustworthy attorney to manage and lead the investigation of possible attempts to interfere with the administration of the 2020 election. In other words, somebody that will work with her agenda, right? He said he was paid $250 an hour, less than his typical $550 per hour rate, which makes zero sense to me, considering this is his first RICO case that he's ever prosecuted, and then you have to wonder why he would work for $250 an hour, and I would only be left to assume that it was because he was willing to work with Fani Willis and the Biden administration in the manner that they wanted to go after Trump. But he was approached for the role after other lawyers expressed hesitation due to concerns related to violent rhetoric and potential safety issues for their families. What a joke, right? So they're saying just he's going to work for less than half of his regular hourly in this super dangerous prosecution where other lawyers were too scared to actually take the case. Sounds like a bunch of bullcrap to me. He took the assignment after being approached by Willis and other lawyers. While professional associates and friends since 2019, there's no personal relationship between District Attorney Willis and me prior to or any time of my appointment as special prosecutor in 2021. Wade continues. In 2022, District Attorney Willis and I developed a personal relationship in addition to our professional association and friendship. That doesn't make it okay. The District Attorney and I are financially independent professionals. Expenses for personal travel were roughly divided equally between us, writes Wade. At times, I have made the purchased travel for District Attorney Willis and myself from personal funds, and other times District Attorney Willis has made the purchased travel for she and I from her personal funds. Well, let's go ahead and see the receipts. You know, it's really simple to say. Just go ahead and back it up with receipts. I'm sure you use credit cards. It's all out there. Roman was charged this summer with alleged crimes including taking part in a racketeering conspiracy, conspiracy to commit forgery, and conspiracy to file false documents, all in connection with a scheme to submit fake Republican electors who would cast votes for Trump in place of electors to reflect Joe Biden's certified victory in the state. Willis asked Judge Scott McAfee to nix a planned evidentiary hearing in February 15th. This is not an example of zealous advocacy. nor is it a good faith effort to develop a record on a disputed legal issue. Is a ticket to a circus, she writes. Well, it's a circus that she created. Sounds like she should have just prosecuted Trump and kept it in her pants. Maybe not gone on some of these vacations. If she wanted to be looked at as a consummate professional with an impeccable record, you might want to start acting professional. You don't want to sleep with the prosecuting attorneys that you hire to to prosecute the greatest president of most of our lifetimes. I mean, what a joke, right? Pretty much looks like Fani Willis should be on the hook for this $488,000 grant, in addition to the over $600,000 she's paid to Nathan Wade. That's over $1 million in taxpayer dollars that need receipts, in my opinion. And if you agree with that, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.